Welcome to The Deciding Point. Our Cracked Racquets weekly breakdown of the biggest storylines going on throughout the tennis world. Was a busy week on both the ATP and WTA Tour. We had 3 highlight events on the men's side, 2 on the women's side, and of course another action-packed week ahead of us. Joining me to break down all of the action, as he so often does, is our Cracked Racquets do everything forefather of the forehand slice, Jamie McDonald. But with that in mind, let's get to this week's episode of The Deciding Point. All right, Jamie, let's preview this week's events on the ATP and WTA Tour. We've got 2 going on each side. The men going to be in Acapulco and Dubai for a couple of 500-level events. The women going to be in Mexico and St. Petersburg, as they've got a couple of 250s as well. Now, it's not often that you call me super excited about tennis. Usually you're the one reining me in, but right as we got on the phone, you said, Alex, you have to look at this week's ATP 500 draws because they're spectacular. Let our listeners know what they have in store for them.
I mean, it's nuts. Look, even from the first rounds of these all the way into just, possible blockbuster matches in, the later stages. It's incredible. I mean, look, it's a ton of fun to have any tennis right now with COVID and sort of emerging from this, but to get treated to this many good matches, I mean, look, I could spend 10 minutes just reading down the draws and what I think. But I mean, even tonight, you've just got clashes between people like Zverev and Alcaraz, FAA and Sandgren, Stevie. Maybe he can do something against Laszlo Djere, Cilic and Sebastian Korda. I mean, there's so many good matches. And so I think that's for me, regardless of the draw, whatever draw you're looking at, you're going to have an opportunity to see a phenomenal match. And so that, obviously, as a tennis fan, that's exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, Medvedev in action in Dubai as well, Rublev in action in Dubai, so it's across the board, and it's going to be from start to finish, right, because the action in Dubai is going to be done around 10 a.m., 11 a.m., maybe even noon, and then you'll get right into the Acapulco action for the men's side. I agree with you, all of those matches are headliners, and we'll talk about it all week long in our mini break podcast. It's crazy to me, again, that the WTA Tour continues to power on, especially given how many events they've had here early in the season, but I mean, still, you get players like Sloane Stephens making her return. The fact that she's the 1 seed feels a little bit crazy. I feel like it'll be most shocking if Sloane Stephens wins the event this week. Nevertheless, she's the 1 seed, Podoroska the 2 seed over in Mexico, over in St. Petersburg. I believe it's Ekaterina Alexandrova who is coming off of a first-round loss to Clara Tauson, who ended up winning the event as the 1 seed. Tauson in action this week, but of course, the 2 seed Veronika Kudermetova there, who's been so good of late. So yeah, really high-level events from start to finish. We should have some exceptional tennis. If you're giving me one player to watch, Jamie Volunteer, give me the one player you're watching most closely.
I mean, on the women's side, I think you just mentioned her. It's got to be Tauson. She has a really interesting match tomorrow against Kasatkina that I think is going to be really fun to watch. And beyond that, I mean, she can just explode through these draws. Because, look, there's some good names in these draws, but it's not overwhelming. There's no reason she should be incredibly intimidated by these draws. She has every ability to move through this on the pure tennis. So I think she's my player to watch on the WTA side.
Men's side? There's a lot. I know.
Yeah,
it's
really hard to select just one on the men's side. I think maybe Jannik Sinner. I think he's gotten a little bit quieter. There was a lot of hype around him, and obviously now he's in stacked draws, playing against the big boys all the time. He's no longer just making some run. So now there's some expectation behind him, but he'll be in action, and he's had a couple of tough breaks with his hard draws, but now he's going to have a chance to maybe make a run and get some good matches in. So I'm going to be watching Jannik Sinner.
Mm-hmm. I would echo your sentiment on the women's side. On the men's side, I hate watching the other half of this match, but what is Carlos Alcaraz on a hard court? He qualified in Australia. He had so much success, the 17-year-old, on the challenger level to end last season. Can he do it at the ATP level, and can he do it on hard courts that he's playing? He who must not be named in the first round. That has my attention, but yes, as you mentioned, it's going to be a fantastic week of tennis for all of us tennis fans to enjoy.